Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video, and we have a lot of news to cover, apparently, while I've been asleep. This is not Strike 3. I am not late. I was just not awake. There's a difference between me being out and about and, seeing the news and not coming in versus me seriously being knocked unconscious from the pain in my back from last night. Alright, anyways, moving on. So, we're going to start off with the JP Twitter account because somebody made another oopsie, and it looks like yet another intern is getting laid off. Now, whether or not this is the same intern that made the small mistake on the Who Heroes Jubilee Bazaar and they just caught another one, maybe he's already gone. Running joke aside, we do have new information, the first special report for the Tower of ISIS. So the latest information is being posted in the app, so we'll check that out in a bit. So weapon-equipped awakening system will be implemented on the 30th. Awakening items are available at the tower. It is possible to awaken by combining two weapon equipment of the same name that has been strengthened to the maximum. It is possible to awaken by combining two weapon equipments of the same name that has been strengthened to the max. Okay. That sounds like you're combining two 6-star weapons into a 7-star weapon, I guess. Who has that many 6-star weapons? They'd just be like, oh yeah, no, let's fuse these two together. Okay, we'll check out the app. This must be the new awakening items. Little fire, little incense kind of plate, a goblet of fire, and then a fire pit. Interesting. Okay, yeah, we'll check that out in a bit, but there is one more piece of news on the Twitter that I saw, and it's this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we get, this already? We got the Earth Awakening Trials survey yesterday, and right now training is winning by quite a bit, which is a mistake, because I don't use Trainee ever, and Kurobe has served more purpose against EX Milim than Trainee ever has. I have tried using Trainee. Don't get me wrong. But I use Kurobe more. So why are we now getting a fire? Are they combining the metas? Earth attribute. As a support for the Lord who is capturing the conquest battle for the character's attribute equipment, fire. Preparing a quest to get the character's awakening material. Please vote for the character. Okay. I never did a video on the Earth one. I just kind of posted it as a community post, but okay. Oh, what's this? That's quite long. Regarding the Awakening questionnaire originally, the place where the questionnaire of the Awakening material of the Fire attribute character was conducted was done with the Ground attribute character. This result will be reflected around May. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. From 2030 today, we will carry out a questionnaire on Fire-type characters. So they messed up. That it is not supposed to be an Earth Awakening trial. It's supposed to be a Fire Awakening trial. So my community post yesterday is now outdated because the space meta is not next. They are bringing the Earth meta next now. Well, I mean, that's what this means, right? So, because we're doing Fire Awakening trials. Fire is effective against Earth. They want us to use a fire unit to use against the Earth Conquest, which is why they're giving us a fire unit, so you can farm Earth cores to awaken gear for the Earth element units that you'll be summoning for shortly. That is how the Awakening Trials have always worked. And if this one is no longer valid, because this would mean you would go against Space Millum to farm Space Cores for Space Meta. Now we're farming Earth Cores for the Earth Meta. It means the Earth Meta is coming next, which... Am I sad about that? Yeah, because I really wanted my busted Space Meta. I really want that Space Meta to just be dumb, stupid, broken. But not arguably, the Earth team, even before the Water Meta came in, the Earth team was by far the worst team comp in the game. The absolute worst. Against the absolute hardest boss. No less. You have... okay, here's my game. Companions. We'll check the in-game news in a second. Let's find the Earth units, guys. You have Earth Millum. You know, she is a very good damage dealer, but she's an AoE. Her attack stat is actually quite high, so her normal hits hit really well. You have the Chad, who is a god. And then you have Trainee, who is a single target ult, is a healer, lowers pierce power on enemies, but her attack stat is horrendous because she's a defense growth. She can't hit worth a damn. I think Earth Millum's ult hits harder as a single target than it does Trainee in EX Millum. And then you have Geld, Kurobe, and Trainee. And then the protection unit is the Golem, in which EX Millum you are relying on those counterattacks for the bulk of your damage. Because she hits you 4 times in a turn. And if you get 4 counters, and you get some sweet super counters, then you're looking really good. But this Earth team is ass against the hardest boss in the game. So, again, am I sad the Space Meta is not coming for my busted team? Yes. Does the Earth team meet it a whole hell of a lot more? Oh yeah. So I'm not too upset about this, because now that the Earth team can run wild, hopefully we get some really, really good DPS, because that's what this team needed, just like the Water team needed. I think the Water team needed DPS less than the Earth team, because Soe is still a pretty good unit. But your single target 5-star unit is Trainee, the healer. So, alright, so bring on the Earth meta. So you can choose Fire Benimaru, Fire Kurobe, Fire Shuna, or Fire Phobio. Now, everyone and their mother has been using Fire Phobio at this point because of his secondary skill. Let's go ahead and filter by fire. Phobio. Not overly useful in any real sense of the term. He's an AoE, he's attack growth, cool beans, whatever, I don't need him. But I've been currently using him in Jubilee because of his double orb change. And this skill. Decreases a single target's crit resistance by 23%. What this means is that if you give yourself guaranteed crits, like with Fire Millum, then your crits will hit 23% harder against the single enemy that you've debuffed, which, if you're going against one enemy, works out pretty well. So this just causes you to do more damage. Very useful for a lot of nuking purposes. He's pretty useful. Outside of that, though, I don't use him for anything. Fire Benimaru probably is the best unit out of the bunch all around. He's a single target. He self-buffs himself by, I think, up to 25%? 20% for 15 points, so not expensive. And then stun evasion. So he is kind of a poor man's Shizu, I guess, Fire Shizu. We don't have the double orb change, but you do have the self-buff. It's still single target. He's still physical. So if you don't have Shizu and you need that stun evasion, then Benimaru will help you out there for the conquest, along with being a solid DPS unit. Next is Kurobe, who I have not used all that much. Another single target, increases pierce resistance, and a 1 orb change. Pierce resistance. I wouldn't call this too amazing right here. I mean, the golem does have defense, yeah, but you're going for ults against him by the time his defense goes up on like turn 5. It's for 2 turns though. It's a 25-point skill. And then we got a 1 orb change for 15 points. Increases your orange gain by 5%. This probably goes up to 10%? 7% actually? 10%. Oh wow. Alright. Don't choose Kurobe. Last is what, Fire Shuna? What do you do? I've never used you. Have I? I've leveled your skills up. AoE, defense by 16%, so probably 20% for 3 turns. And increases Pierce resistance by 42%. Oh, that's probably why I used her. Because I probably tried to take her into Space Melon. I mean, she's a very defensive. Increase allies guard rate by 10%. Actually, you could use her, because if you get the golem is 80%, this bumps it up to 90, increases your defense, increases your pierce resistance. That's actually a really good kit. If you were Earth, you would be godly. If you were Earth, you would be godly. You would take over probably Kurobe's spot on my team. Huh. Okay, well, I mean, based on these 3 units, I personally would probably tell most people to pick Benimaru as the Awakening Trials unit. That way you have a solid single target person who buffs your own attack and gives you that stun dodge. He has the most utility in the golem stage. But you choose you, but I really think you should all choose Benimaru. Now that's over though, so we've covered that. Let's go ahead and cover this in-game news now. Let's see, I just logged in. I haven't done anything yet. Alright, that's not... We covered that, 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 covered all of this. Okay, so 11:30 UTC 325. Tower is here, 3:30, plus a login bonus counting down to the release. Thank you for playing Isekai Memories. We have news for you regarding Tower, the new event coming 2 a.m. UTC on the 30th, so 7 p.m. on the 29th, which is Tuesday for myself, so we will be streaming then for this. Images and information notice may differ from in-game conditions when the event is actually released. So, Tower of Isis. Which route will you take? Explore each floor. Battle your way up ISIS's mysterious tower. Get tower-exclusive rewards and new feature, Awaken your equipment. Welcome to, Loop Loop, a haunted house built by ISIS once upon a time. The result of this tower was an infinity mirror, an infinite cycle of dreams, spawning dreams. Okay. Choosing a route. Select a mirror to advance to the next square. So squares being in this little mini-map right here. Stronger and stronger enemies appear the higher up you go, so use the recommended attributes and EP to choose the right route for you. Thanks to her skill Megalomania, Loop Loop may just perpetually generate more and more floors for all eternity. Okay, well, there's a first kicker, is that this event will remain and continue on forever, unlike Crucible, which was gated at 100 floors, may just perpetually generate more and more floors for all eternity. So this event will never stop. You'll always have more and more floors to grind, more and more floors to climb to, more and more rewards to gain. They can add even better rewards once you get, higher floors, I guess. Okay, so this event is continuously going to be updated forever. That's good news right there. Continuous content. Okay, what is this? Should I make this bigger for you guys? Hold on. I feel like I should. Let's do this. Boop. Okay. We'll leave it like that for now. Alright, so what does this say? Need EP 138,000 and you get, looks like, rewards for beating the enemy. Okay. Increases protection gauge at the start of battle by 30. Oh. And or obtain a reward. So your 3 options, I don't know if they will always be the same options, but you can battle and get drops. You could get just something, but probably not in as high quantity or quality as beating the enemy. Or you could get a skill that buffs you in some way. And looks like you can carry multiples of them around. Looks like this is, what, a stun dodge plus 30% for everyone? Okay, so they're going to range. The skills that you can pick up to help you are going to range across the board. You can see that you have the option here. So this is you, little blue orb, or I'm assuming that's just Rimuru. And then you can see that these are the 3 paths, so 1, 2, 3. And then if you advance 1, so let's say you pick the protection gauge like you always should, then I guess you'll turn and you'll have 2 options, I guess, or you'll turn this way and have 2 options. Or just 1 option, because you're only the 1 path connecting. Or maybe this will fill up again, and then you can turn back around and choose those. And then probably this is like the final boss gate to get to the next highest floor. Interesting. I don't know how they're going to gate you from just like blasting through this. Like, it'll probably cost stamina. Obviously the floors will get relatively difficult if you don't have the right elements, the right typings, the right gear. Okay, so interesting. Floor bosses. Okay, yeah, so it is the gate. Defeat the boss on each floor to receive a reward and advance to the next floor. Bosses possess powerful abilities, so the key to victory is to obtain various enhancements by consuming lesser spirits as you advance through the floor. So, this. So I assume that if you try and just blaze through and just pick up rewards, like fighting people in this, 1, your health probably doesn't recover. And 2, once you get to the boss, if you haven't been buffing yourself constantly, this boss is going to wreck you. Because another 30 points to your protection gauge, I mean, using the 3 protection units, Gazzle, Dark Mill, Earth Mill, that's a total of 33 points. So if you happen to pick up this extra 30 points of protection gauge, you immediately have a protector turn 1, if that's the team that you're running. Oh, so, I mean, Pop Cabby, turn 1, you have a handful of greens and Valentine. You immediately have ults on turn 2, maximum skill points at 140, and probably a Cabby and a half again. Okay, well, this will be interesting. This will be fun. I hope. Alright, and then defeat, so boss awaits you at the end of each floor. You get the little fire things, broken shard thingies, and coins. Defeat the floor boss and get equipment awakening materials. Okay. So it got a little purpley. It's an alpha, if any of you played Ark. Okay, so here's a little look at the board as well. So you're here. Yeah, it is Rimuru. So looks like there's different colors of the lesser spirits. Maybe the better one, or the darker, more colorful ones give you a better boost. Maybe. Who knows? Okay. A new system for awakening equipment will be released at the same time. You can get materials used to awaken equipment: faint awakening flames, tiny awakening flames, and large awakening flames. Couldn't they call it something simpler, I guess? Tiny fire, medium fire, big fire. I don't know. Equipment that has been completely evolved to its max level. Equipment that has completed reforging. Equipment that fulfills the 2 above requirements can be awakened using a piece of equipment of the same name that has been evolved to its max level, dedicated materials, and gold coins. After being awakened, equipment can be further leveled up, evolved, and reforged to additionally increase its stats. Oh. Oh, we're super awakening. We're super awakening gear. Loop Loop and all new features coming to the app at 2 a.m. UTC on the 30th. To commemorate the release of this new feature, we're holding a login countdown bonus. This is currently going on. This is not new. I believe we're on the 3rd day of this now. 2nd day of this? 15 crystals? Yeah, 2nd day of this. Okay. Let me make a quick cut and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. So, equipment that has been completely evolved to its max level and has completed reforging. So what that means is that you need a piece of 6-star gear. Let's take this one for example. That is level 60, 6-star, and does not have is maxed out on the stat. So you cannot redo it. You have to, re-roll its stat until it's the highest. You have to evolve it to 6-star, and you have to level it up to level 60. So that is the first requirement for awakening gear. Let's go back in here. And then, yeah, completely evolved to its max level, and so, yeah, it has to be 6-star gear, and you have to re-roll its stats to maximum. And then equipment that fulfills the 2 above requirements can be awakened using a piece of equipment of the same name that has been evolved to its max level. Okay, so you need a base piece of gear that is re-rolled and maxed out 6-star. And then you can combine that using the new stuff and another piece of gear that is max level. So it doesn't need to be re-rolled, but it does need to be 6-star as well, is what I'm taking from this. So oh, that's brutal. I mean, I know they're adding gold hammers to the shop at the end of the month, but I guess the Heroes Jubilee Blitz gives you gold hammers as well. You're gonna that's expensive to say the least. That's a lot of materials right there. You got to awaken 2 pieces of gear to 6-star, 2 of the same pieces of gear. So you need cores. I mean, these don't need cores, so I guess those will be first. So if I wanted to super awaken my Gazel sword, I would need this one that's max level and rerolled, and then I would need a second light sword that is at least max level. I mean, that's how I'm reading it. It doesn't say it has to be reforged to its maximum potential, so it just has to be another level 60 6-star sword, and then I combine that into Gazel's original sword, and now it becomes even stronger. So at minimum, it takes, 2 gold hammers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cores, 3 bronze hammers, 2 silver hammers? That's pretty expensive right there. Okay, the reason why I made the cut originally is because it reminds me of Super Awakening from Grand Cross, which I will pull up here. So we got my girl Millum from one of the very first collabs in the game. You can see that Awaken. So Awakening in Grand Cross is equivalent to ability releasing. So let's go, yeah, so here you go. So you have Benimaru, who needs these 5 levels of ability releasing, which you need to grind these materials, right? Grand Cross has the same kind of thing where you awaken these 6 steps using these materials, right? And they give you stats every time you get one of these bulbs. So, I'm missing one of those. Oh well. So, notice that there's 6, and I have 3 of them done. But let's is there anyone that I haven't done yet? Yeah. So, Green Gother. You have 6-star done. So now, once you have these 6 stars done, you can now do Super Awakening, and you can use a different kind of currency. And now they get 1 red star. And that increases their stats even more, HP, crit resistance, recovery rate. So you can do this. And all of a sudden now you have 1 red star, and you can now, you can't at the beginning, but you can now get fully 6 red stars. So like some of my more used units all the way up here, their Super Awakening is done because she has all 6 of the yellow stars, all 6 of the red stars now, which means you've maxed out the Awakening. So they're doing this instead of for characters directly, they're doing it for gear. Because they're adding another star level onto the gear itself. I mean, yeah, right here. So we're getting the rainbow star on them now. I don't know how I feel about this feature. If it was just collecting this stuff and it was, just plain difficult, I would be much more okay with that. But having to raise up 2 separate pieces of equipment to forge into one at that high of level when you don't have a dedicated way to farm gold hammers, that I think is a misplay right there. That's going to gatekeep a crap ton of players because, people can't beat EX Conquest to even awaken to silver hammers. There's not... If they can't beat, 3-star Conquest, there's really no way in hell they're going to be able to reliably clear the missions for EX Conquest. Because one of those missions is keeping everyone alive 5 times, and if you can't beat it at 3-star, which means keeping everyone alive, well, then there's 1 gold hammer away from you. I mean, the other ones maybe are a little bit more easy, using 150 skill points, but, beating the Orc and Golem on turn 5 instead of turn 6, if you don't have the dupes and the gear, you're not going to kill it. Or the units, to be fair. So, I don't agree with this, using 2 of the same pieces of gear at the maximum level. I mean, I personally will be fine, me and my fucking 20-something gold hammers. Yeah, 24 gold hammers. I mean, I'll be fine, but you pretty much essentially cut that in half now. Okay, well, I think that's it for the news. There's nothing else in here. So information about Tower, you can choose your route, you'll fight bosses, you'll gain this new awakening materials for gear, which is questionable. And then we have the Twitter making the mistake and correcting, so now we are getting the Earth meta next. So next Tuesday, on the 29th, at 7 p.m., I expect a double banner with Earth meta units to drop. So we will be streaming summons, and we will be streaming our first attempts at Tower. So please join me on the 29th, whatever time it is for you as it translates. I'm going to push this video up immediately, and in a couple hours I will start my hardcore grinding of Jubilee to, get the highest score that we can so I can get the video out, because there's only a few more days left of Jubilee. They made the event a little bit shorter than the previous one, so I need to get that video out for people who need to know the strategies. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about the Earth meta coming next, and the Super Awakening of Gear, and just Tower as a whole. They did say they're going to drop more information incrementally until the drop of Tower, so I'm assuming tomorrow we'll have even more information about it. But let me know in the comments what your initial thoughts are on Super Awakening for the gear. I personally think it's too expensive. Way too expensive. But I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.